live. We'll just wing it. We'll just feel it out.
Okay.
Okay. We are live.
Yay.
Yay. Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
welcome. Welcome to Salt and Honey. We were a podcast. I guess we still are. But today, well, we're both comic artists, and today we're going to look at our old comics. So we're going to redline each other's comic
Yes.
pages, our old ancient comics that aren't that old, but they're still, I feel like after you've done a certain amount of comics, it just everything feels super far away.
True. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I got this idea because I was thinking about, well, it was kind of brought on by like someone tweeting that they didn't like when people like redlined their comics, and apparently that's like a different thing now. It's like something that trolls do. They'll like redraw people's art with like, or not even people's art, but like a character specifically with like bigger boobs or something.
Haven't
And
they always done that? Like, I feel like that's not
I just didn't think of
surprising.
that. When I think of redlining, I think
You
of
didn't think
like,
of that. Yeah, you didn't think of that like aspect of it.
yes, yeah. So I was like, why is this person so against redlining? Because for me, growing up, like on Okaki boards and stuff, redlining was when like other artists would like take your drawing and then like kind of sketch over it to kind of show. It mostly had to do with like anatomy. So like they would sketch in red over your like figure to show you how to improve it.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I was like, "Ooh, red lines! I haven't thought about that in like a long time."
I mean, I think I'm assuming that even when I do red lines, which is not often, it's like on a volunteer basis, right? So it's like you're open to the fact you're either open to it or you're like asking for it in terms of like, oh, I need help, but I can't figure it out. Please, give me your insight.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, I don't know, talking about it on Twitter, and people were like, because I was thinking,
People
I
were
was like,
roasting
oh,
you.
yeah, they just didn't like the idea of like using like drawing over people's like sketching over people's work to like talk about it in like a critical way, and I was like, I don't get why that's like not a good thing.
Hmm.
So like I guess preemptively I want to say like first of all like this is criticism, but it's not like we're not like trying to like teach each other. Like it's our own subjective opinions on how things might be better or how we might interpret it. It's not like we're correcting something because they were saying like you can't like correct art. Like art is just an expression and like there's no like right or wrong way to do it. And I was like, okay, fine. Sort of valid, I guess, but
I think,
yeah.
yeah, I think it is valid. I mean, it's like, if you don't want people to criticize it, I think that's fine because I feel like a lot of people don't like that. But I guess on another level, like, if there's something like really glaringly not right, it's like, anatomy errors or something, wouldn't you rather know it now so you could pay attention to it later? Because I've had that issue, like, even without realizing in the past, and it's like, oh, like, it's kind of embarrassing, and I'm like, oh no, like, I did that. It's very, like, I did this very glaring error, but I think it passes pretty quickly, at least for me.
Yeah.
I
And I
don't
mean, I'm
know.
not like
It's,
if we do end up doing this with like other comics that we like and want to talk about and like draw over just to illustrate like our criticisms, like we're not like going to tag that artist. Like this is not about like, "Hey, here's how you can improve," even though you never
here's how
asked
you
us.
fix it.
Yeah, this is like for my own like our own benefit and like conversation about how we are processing interpreting this as story. It's not like about like correcting someone per se.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so I just
agree with
wanted to throw
that.
that out there because I feel like people are really a little bit offended that I had this idea. But
I
yeah.
like I like that you're always like pressing people's buttons. You're asking the big questions that people don't want to answer.
Am I pressing
Um,
people's buttons? I
you're
feel like
like
I'm not.
Tommy's always like Sloane's asking for trouble, and I was like, Someone just likes asking questions. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm like pretending like I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. I guess I'm annoying. That's true.
No,
That's valid.
I think you're trying to open discussion most of the time. You know,
Yeah.
you're not doing it to be like inflammatory or incendiary. You're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
doing it because
totally.
you're like honestly curious. Like it's not like I already know the answer, but like I'm gonna like throw it to the audience and see what they think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not being disingenuous. Like when I say stuff a lot of time, it's mostly me working things out on Twitter or like genuinely asking like, wait, why is this bad? Like, and people had good points in
Yeah.
there. I was like, yeah, that's right. Like I'm not trying to like correct things. I shouldn't call it like a, maybe not like a criticism per se, maybe like more like a critical, like more
Critical
reflective
eye.
creative exercise or something. Like
Yeah,
anyway.
it's an exercise because it doesn't mean that anyone has to correct something. You're not like a teacher and the work is not homework. So it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you know, hi Woozy, hi Cosmos.
Thanks for hanging out
Um,
with us.
yeah, let's I guess yeah, I mean now that we've gotten that out of the way, like we've discussed that we're not flaming each other.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about this comic and why you chose it?
Yeah,
Or
totally.
when you like made it, like just, you know, whatever you think is important.
Yeah. Well, I have yours up right now, but do you want to start with mine? Should we do mine first since I suggested it?
I think I might have suggested it because you were like, let's redline people's stuff, and I was like, we should probably do our own
Oh, yeah,
first because
true.
because not because like I don't know,
Wait.
not for any other reason other than like we aren't afraid to look at our own work and be like, oh, like maybe if these things were shifted or like kind of switched, it might read better.
Yeah, I would say we're pretty like thick-skinned when it comes to criticism.
Yeah,
Um
I feel like there's only so many times you can be unsure about a layout before you're like just accepting that people have differing opinions, and sometimes their opinion is works better than your own.
yeah, for sure. Um yeah, so I'll pull up mine. So I did this I think this comic is from 2016 or something. I forgot. But I know I did it for like a convention and did like a small like, mini comic run or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of how the story came to be, but it's about like, some island kids.
Hmm.
And there's a monster in like this like grotto cave that they feed and kind of befriend. Um, and one of the kids is scared, but is slowly becoming like accustomed to this monster's like presence and feeds it regularly. And
It's
yeah,
like the Giving Tree, but it's a monster, you know?
yeah, I think so. And yeah, it was kind of just like not a very deep story. It was more like vibes. Like I think I just wanted
Yeah.
to draw like foliage and like I don't know
Waves,
water.
vibes.
Yeah, just some summer vibes. Um, so yeah, I don't know. What did you think? Tell me anything. Tell me everything.
I think I told you already, but I do like this comic. I remember this comic vaguely. Like I think because it's pretty old in the grand scheme of things because you
Yeah.
do so many mini comics.
Yes.
But I did like it. I was like, oh, I can see a lot of like where you've grown, but also like it's still like says Sloan to me, like it's your personality, like
Mm.
it fits your personality and like your vibe.
Hmm.
And I think I was also kind of surprised at how lighthearted it felt.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of the subject matter you like to tackle can be like quite grim or like quite deep
Hmm.
in symbology, and this is like a little bit more it's a little bit more like visual, like more aesthetics than story.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but I liked it. I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Thank
Um,
you. Sweet.
do you have
Um,
any thoughts about this? Are you just like indifferent?
um, I know I drew this in like Clip Studio, and I don't draw like comics digitally anymore. It's just like too uncomfortable for me. Like I feel like My paneling is a lot more like conservative, and like proportions are kind of wonky because I feel like I'm like zoomed in to like a panel, and then I'll zoom out and be like, oh, I drew that like way too big in relation to like the rest of the page, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, I don't like drawing comics digitally anymore. It's not comfortable for me.
I think I'm like kind of in between on that. I feel like I feel like I'm definitely a lot better at drawing comics traditionally, but I don't mind drawing digitally. I'm just like not sure if it looks any good. I'm just like, does this look bad because I don't use this as much, or I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard for me to tell because it's like I like your work a lot, and so I feel like your
Oh, thank
style
you.
and your like the natural flow of like how you pull a brush, whether it's like digital or traditional, kind of like always looks good to me. So I don't know. Um, but yeah. Let me pop on annotation. Actually, can you annotate without me turning it on?
Yeah, I can annotate without you
Oh,
doing it.
cool. Sweet.
We're
Um,
like annotating on Zoom.
yeah. um, yeah, I don't know. Is there like, I mean, a lot of the anatomy is kind of wonky too. Like the kids, I feel like I like did not understand how to draw these kids because I was like,
Hmm.
they're kind of in this like preteen, lanky, big-headed, state.
Yeah,
um,
they're in the awkward growing stage where they're not like super kid proportions, but also not like teen proportions. They're like in between that.
yeah, definitely. And I don't think I even designed these kids ahead of time. I was just kind of like, I'll give this one like very choppy bangs and like I didn't even know like their facial features. Like I didn't design anything. I just pretty much started drawing
You
it.
just start, yeah, yeah.
Um, which is kind of still my approach. I don't like to do a lot of like preamble design work, but I'm also like not a very like strong character designer either. So, you know,
It's hard because I think I also feel like I don't really know what to do when there's characters. I'm like, I guess I'll try to feel this out, and like the character that's easiest to draw that comes out of it that doesn't look like crap is gonna be my main character.
yeah.
Maybe not the best way to go about it, but I also think it's like an effective way.
Yeah. And it's also like I feel like we're not like in the school of like animation style designs where we're drawing
Like
characters that
super
have
silhouette,
yeah,
silhouette
exactly.
forward.
Or like each character has like their specific color palette and like clothing like costume design like our
Yeah.
stories are not really about that sort of like branding of a character like Snotty wears all sorts of fashion. She does have her
Hmm.
like signature green hair, but I feel like she's not like totally stylistically like um different from the rest of the characters,
Yeah.
in an extreme way, I should say.
Yeah, I think yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's interesting when people kind of have a I feel like sometimes I can notice that people have like checkboxes or checklists for the kinds of characters that they design, which I think can be useful, but also sometimes it can be very formulaic.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I guess we can get into it.
Oh man, my
Can you
oh yeah, where do you want me to scroll to?
scroll to the second page, I think, or first?
Second page.
Yeah. I don't really find any issues with the first page. I feel like it's kind of more of an artistic choice to have the fish really big.
Mm-hmm.
I would say for this page, I might I might switch these two panels or these two rows, but I don't know. It kind of because I feel like I understand why you did this because it's like the flow of the visual flow is like dictating that like you would see like the fish and the girl first, but I also feel like there should be a little bit more environment. I don't know. That's just what I tend to go for. Is that I'll show like
Right.
a really big environment at the top, or even a small one. You don't have to have a really big one.
Mm-hmm.
This could be a lot smaller too. Hmm. But
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
yeah, because I think it's like it's fun to have like the super splashy page, like, but I think it's good to ground the characters as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we don't get like a big shot of the beach. We just only see the ocean and then her off the ocean, and it's kind of
Yeah,
it's not
I would
totally
almost
clear her in relation to the kids. Like it could be clearer.
yeah. Um, I also think since you have her turned around, you have her back facing them. Um, I don't know. I always have issues with this because I'm like not sure how much I should mirror in panels or how much I can like turn it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like, do I want to be moving around a lot, or is it okay to just kind of bring focus in closer in another
Yeah.
way?
Mm-hmm.
I would almost put this clip, this, I would put this one, this like kind of close up shot like after like an establishing panel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just
Make
so
it
you can
more
kind
of
of,
a classic like reverse shot.
yeah. And I think that this like close up panel and this panel down here could just be one.
Okay. Yeah. 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 I can
It's
see that.
almost like the same pose and it kind of serves the same purpose. So so my idea right now is that you could have the fish at the beginning, but I would have the fish, I would have the establishing shot,
Mm-hmm.
or you could reverse that. This could be the establishing shot and then you can have her face. And I have the fish and maybe actually wait, no, that's not right. I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me either. Okay, it's like a weird zoom erasing. Okay, let me think about this. I'm like now I'm doubting myself. I don't
No,
know.
I think you have the right idea because it's like for me it was intuitive because I'm like, oh, okay, this girl is here. It's close up of her frying the
Yeah,
fish. But for a reader who's not in my head, like they don't know, they won't like be necessarily drawn to that character in the back. You know,
yeah,
it's just like not a very. It's intuitive for me as an artist, but it's not intuitive for a reader.
yeah. I think it would almost. I think it would be better as well if these kids were. Well, what am I doing? These kids are bigger. Like if this like foreground element was even like more exaggerated and large.
Mm-hmm.
So like I would move this out just so it frames her better, because um, I'm not necessarily focusing on the foreground, but I am seeing them, and this is the first read is that I'll see them.
Yeah, they have like high contrast and like way more details, and she's kind of like faded into the background, and yeah, also not totally centered between the three kids, so it's not like it's not like pushing her as the focus as strongly as it could.
Yeah, I think it reads fine, but if you really wanted to, like, oh, what if it was like this? What if it was so like the previous page is a splash page basically. It's like one
Mm-hmm.
long panel. What if you like extended it
Oh
at
yeah,
the
that
bottom?
works.
And then like you go into the next page and then you're seeing like the fish frying. Maybe you see like more smoke or something. Cause she's grilling it. Then you can see like an establishing shot, close up, and then like her friend here or something.
Yeah, totally.
Something like that. Like I feel like it's fine. Like I can read it perfectly fine, but yeah, I might move things around a little bit.
Yeah, it's just like a bit clunky and like let me see if I can pull up this let me draw it here. Okay, let me end it.
Well, how would you change it if you were gonna do it again? Like if you had to redraw this whole comic, even though we don't like to do that or think
Um
about it,
yeah. Let me see. So
or what
like
would you change if anything?
I mean pretty much just following like more let me see if I can it's not like turning on for my Oh, there you go. Okay. Go away. Ah, okay. So like I would do like a better beach establishing shot. Why are you not clicking? Please.
It would be really cool if you like. Another thing that would be cool too is that you kind of see like maybe you had like different panels showing like different textures on the beach, like the shells and like the sand and stuff, and like, and then you kind of like pull out and you see the environment she's in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. Also, like this character, she comes kind of from, like, nowhere. Oh,
Yeah.
I think my pen might be dead.
Oh no. I guess I have to do all the redlining.
Oh my god, yeah, you might have to. Why is this like... I'm sorry, people. Oh my god.
You have to use your mouse. It's like real Oakaki style.
Oh god. Let me see. I might actually have to use my mouse. Yeah, better establishing shot so we get a sense of the beach and also like the forest that they're kind of behind.
Mm-hmm.
A better.
Oh yeah, you don't. Yeah, more of a sense of the like nature. What's going on?
And like you were saying, like conjoining these two panels so that this reads more of like a reverse shot and maybe showing basically this panel should be like up here is what I'm thinking. And then we can get like forest here and we can see the girl coming out.
Yeah,
she should be out because I feel like that's like she's like, where did you come from? Like you weren't playing over here with the boys, so like
she walked out from the ocean.
Yeah, it's just not clear at all. Yeah. What about was there another page too? Like, let's see.
Maybe let's just go through them and.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't realize that this like clear.
There you go. Okay.
This is like a little bit of like your kind of like indie comic, artsy comic page.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that vibe, huh? Yeah, again, not a very clear establishing shot. I would have liked to...
I would love to see both of them walking together, full body, and more background.
Yeah. Oops. Get back here. Why did you change? This is like...
I'm having computer issues.
I know, sorry. Why? It like doesn't want to draw there. Yeah, this.
Yeah, I like to save the close-ups for like after you've established things.
Yeah, like this should be like them.
Yeah, the second panel could be like them full body. These two panels can be switched, reversed. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and then we can get like all the trees and stuff. All of this conversation can take place in one panel. Like, it doesn't need to be split up.
Yeah.
There's also, like, not, like, any, like, emotional beats happening in these panels. So, yeah, the close-up is kind of, like, wasted a bit.
I think it doesn't have any emphasis, so you could probably, like, I feel like sometimes when there's, like, extraneous panels and you feel like they're not serving your purpose, then that's when you have to consolidate them, because, like, you know, make it easier for yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Make it easier for your brain.
Yes, 100%. I feel like I do like this kind of like the river as like a panel borders.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could have drawn it probably way better. I feel like it's not totally reading like a river. It's reading more like, I don't know, kind of like an oily band of something.
It kind of looks like hair to me.
Oh yeah, it does look like hair for sure.
Yeah, it would be cool if you like, because I don't mind this page either. Like, I feel like it's, you know, that's like the choice you made, so there's not really anything wrong with that. Maybe if you like exaggerate the river more, add some rocks or something.
Yeah.
Just to kind of show that that's what's happening. Like, I don't think you have to be super doesn't have to be like super detailed, but
Yeah.
uh,
Also, maybe
I
adding like
would,
little fish too, because I feel like I don't remember
yeah.
exactly what I was thinking when I made it, but there's obviously like a there's like a theme of like monsters and like animals and
Yeah, like kind of like the aliveness of the environment that they're
yeah,
in.
exactly. That would have been a good place to kind of like push visual themes.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to see, I think like because of the, now that you brought that up, I would like to see a little bit more of that in each of these panels, just because the third panel is so like it's kind of more freeform, it's like more artistic, more like an
Mm-hmm.
illustration than like true panels.
Right.
So it would be really cool if like there was like more foreshadowing of like something like strange about the forest, or like something being there lurking beneath the surface.
Yeah, for sure. Like maybe like one cool thing that I could have done was maybe add maybe like footprints, like make this path like look more
Yeah.
worn, and so it shows that like
Have like
all the little kids have been coming to this like monster's den for like a long time, you know.
yeah, it's like really worn, and everyone's taking the same path to like see the monster because
Yeah,
they're weirdos.
it's like their neighborhood monster like pet. Yeah. um yeah, it's kind of interesting because I feel like when I'm doing comics I'm kind of just
You let it
especially
take over.
I do let it take over. And I feel like revision is probably the hardest part of comics because I feel like once we're done drawing a page, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I'm not good at revising my comics once they're
You're like
done.
you're like interesting thought, but I'll keep it.
Yeah.
I'll keep this the thing I already drew. Now
Yeah.
I get it.
It's different because it's like in the scripting stage. I'm fine. I love doing revisions, but once I've drawn something, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just more stubborn, I guess,
Yeah, I
because I
think I
feel
think
like
that's
I'm
just
done.
because the amount of work that you put into it. I think that's probably why people are sensitive about redlining too, is that they're like, I already did everything. Like,
Yeah.
stop telling me I did it wrong. Like, I totally get it.
Yeah.
It just happens. I don't mind this page. I feel like it's fine.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts? Maybe it could be a little bit more exaggerated, like the scale of things. Like maybe you could see like the girls like full bodies or something.
Yeah, for sure. And like
It could be
also,
smaller.
yeah, I'm not too sure like what the drama is of this page. Like they're obviously collecting the noni fruit.
Hmm.
Um I don't know.
Or the second panel could be like big, and you could see like a shadow of all of them walking towards this. Both of them walking
Right.
towards like a big tree or whatever. Well, obviously this would be the scale would be different, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I dedicated so much space to this like
Oh yeah,
one
that's what basically what
action.
happens here. I'm like I feel like my brain is like all over the place because sometimes I just focus too much on one panel, and the second panel I'm like, oh wait, that's it's right there.
Yeah. Like I feel
Sorry.
like if I was doing I don't know. Like I don't know. I just feel if I went back and redid this page, like I think I'd probably make this like whole page like maybe one panel or two panels at most. I don't know if this is like earning its space as an entire page.
Yeah.
Like maybe if I did something more beautiful where I just did tons of like branch work, and like really made it like a beautiful like splashy illustration of like a branch of
They're
like the
picking it
branches and
from
the
the
girls there, like
they're picking it from the tree, right?
yeah.
I think you can show more of where more specifically of where it's coming from because like it's a little bit harder to read.
Yeah, because they're like so tiny, like in the tree right there. It's
Yeah.
like I'm not sure why. I don't know why
It,
I did that. No clue.
it could
They're so
almost be more like art.
tiny.
It could almost be like more art. Oh, I didn't even see them there. Oh my god. Yeah.
They're so tiny. Why did I draw them so
I
tiny?
literally thought that was just like some like another shot of the tree, and I was like, oh, I think you could show a little bit more. You could be like more I don't know, what is the term? You can
Like
show
more
more of like,
ornamental, like
yeah, you can show like their hands, like you can make it like really clear that it's two different people like passing the fruit to each other,
yeah,
and
totally.
a little bit more like um liberal.
Mm-hmm. Also, maybe
Less
adding like
literal.
an emotional beat of like the girl that doesn't know the monster, like maybe being like skeptical of this.
Yeah, she's like, where? What?
Like, why are we picking these fruit? Why do we need so many? Da, da, da.
She's like,
Like,
what are these? They don't. They smell gross or something.
yeah, that would have been a good spot to like kind of deepen these characters that aren't like barely there. Um,
I like this page, but I do love like this like Eduardo Riso
oh yeah,
like
like the deep
silhouette
shadows.
style. Yeah, like it's like the figure is deep in shadow, but like their clothes are normal. Like it's like local colors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I do like that. Um, hmm. I think first, the first, okay, so the previous page she's dropping one of the fruit and then she's
Mm-hmm.
picking it up, right? Is that that's what's happening,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, hmm.
And like, yeah, I think I was like trying to show that there was like a weird breeze coming out from this like cave, but I don't establish like that there's a cave that they're in front of.
Yeah.
Like they're just kind of there. Like I don't show them like traveling, so
I would almost like, hmm.
that probably
I
could
feel like
have
the,
gone in the panel in like the page before is like them going deeper into the forest.
yeah, I would almost say that the previous two pages could have been, like, I think you could have interspersed the actions more between those pages instead of having them be separate. Then you could have a little bit more of like the artsy, like we're walking through a forest, but I don't want to like just show people walking. It's not that interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was like,
But that would require like a whole overhaul of like the flow of your comic. It would basically be like a completely different comic. But it would be really interesting to see, you know, if you liked it better that way or if it was easier to draw that way.
yeah, I feel like a lot of the environments here, like these are based on places I've been, but I didn't really provide like the connective tissue of these characters like moving through those spaces. So it
Yeah.
kind of feels like they're
It's
teleporting from space from like place to place, which like in my mind's eye that's what they were doing. Like I was just kind of dropping them into different places, you know?
yeah, I get it. I think it makes it seem more dreamlike because they're moving from space to space without
Mm.
really moving, but it doesn't like super bother me. I feel like if I read this as a mini, I wouldn't be like, where are they?
Yeah, true.
I wouldn't be
Expectations are a
like,
little bit different if it's like a short comic, I feel like.
yeah, I think there's a little bit more room for dreaminess.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
But yeah, I think if you were actually to expand on this, then the establishing shots of the environment, especially because it seems really important, are like a really good place to start.
Yeah.
Kind of just give more context.
Yeah, I'm not sure also why I split like these panels here. I guess to kind of like yeah, it's not necessary
I don't mind it, but it's basically the same.
because they're already
They're in the same
standing in the same
position.
positions. Yeah, it's just
Also, I would almost just, I just like this drawing so much, the fourth drawing, that like this could just be the whole thing. This could just be just these three panels could just be this panel, the big one.
yeah,
This
totally.
one could just be like, and just have, if she's asking more questions, just whatever. I'm not a letterer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it could definitely be condensed. Like I don't feel like picking up the fruit. I'm not sure.
Or yeah, if you wanted to have like a real close up, I would do like, a shoujo manga close up of like her eyes or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Reflecting like whatever she's saying.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Like
You're like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
I'm not,
Anyways.
I'm probably not gonna redraw this comic, but I feel like
No,
a lot of
yeah.
the problems that or looking at and talking about, I still do. Like, it's still a habit.
It happens. I feel like I have a lot of weird tics with drawing.
Yeah, same.
My hand just goes into like really practiced movements. So I don't
Yeah,
blame you.
totally.
But I really like this page. I don't really. I feel like it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't black out like the rest of this page. Like the white is kind of not flattering, and I feel like it kind of like unbalances the page a bit. I don't know.
I think it's like a cute illustration. It would be interesting to see you. I don't really know what you would add to this. I guess you could make it darker and like kind of add more shadows overall.
Yeah, the in this panel here, like the let's see, one, two, three, the fourth panel, I feel like it could really emphasize like the shadow because it's like the shadow cuts right here, but it's not very. It's
Oh
not
yeah, right.
like she could be like all in black or just like
You could have like a little outline of her hair.
yeah,
Like her
yeah,
hair could have like a little bit of shine, and like, you can see her back is like completely dark like
yeah,
this.
totally. Um, yeah, because like the shadows in this like butterfly are like solid black, you know, so
Yeah.
I like that feel. This looks like a character with like a butthole. You just it's like
Oh, what?
it's like a booty.
Oh, maybe the visual aspect is a bad idea. You just like, whoa.
Anyway,
Okay.
moving on. um yeah, this was like her experiencing like the darkness and the weird eerie breeze that was like warm or
I almost,
something.
like I think this page is fine because I feel like it's definitely it's definitely getting into the kind of like poetic stage that
Yeah.
I think some like artsy comics can get into. I would love if as she was going into the cave, like you kind of see like a different color of light reflecting onto her.
Mm-hmm.
Because the third and the fourth panel are hard to read. Like I understand what you're trying to do, but I would love to see if she like almost entered into like a different world.
Yeah, totally. Also, this I don't know why. Probably again because it's digital, but the lines are so thin, like you can
Yeah,
barely read these figures at all. Like,
yeah, I would absolutely make the lines thicker or like more contrast.
yeah, definitely. I would say it's a pretty safe layout though. This is like, classic four tier.
Yeah,
I got the
where
like
it's
diagonal going on, a classic diagonal, like
you're like I got two diagonals going on actually. And one going
yeah.
this way and one going the other way.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, kind of like very professional of me. Um and then she finally touches the monster's like hand. She feels it's like moss, grass, and then he's like
He's like, that's nice.
he's like, "Oh, hi." Again, pretty straightforward, like seems fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like if you were to change it, then it would be completely different. But I think it works because you're trying to show this very specific moment. Um,
Yeah. Again, also thickening the lines, please.
yeah, like I also have that issue a lot with digital comics. We were talking about this some other time, not on the stream, but it's so hard because you don't, especially Clip Studio. Like I'm not really sure if other people change their settings, but like, I don't understand like the metric by which brushes get bigger or smaller. I don't know like what they're basing that off of. Is it like millimeters or is it pixels? I don't know. But anyway, I'm very bad at it.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to like
And you have to keep track of how big your like normal brush is too.
yeah, and like the complete page size, which like I don't know. I don't zoom out a lot. I'm always working like at full like 100% scale, and then I zoom out, to a full page, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't see
You're like
anything.
your nose is like on the paper.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. I try not to like zoom too far out anymore, but it's still hard.
Yeah, I can do it.
Um. Yeah, I think this page is okay.
Yeah, I feel like the sequence is fine. I feel like it's vague enough that it's not like nothing standing out to me as like I would do this differently. I think
Yeah.
it's so graphic.
Yeah. I think I would like I didn't I it took me a minute to like remember that she's like running out of the cave because it's just like a perfect circle of light that she's going towards.
Oh right.
So like I would probably go like I do like the idea of this like I do like this circle here, but I feel like as she gets closer, like I should have added more like textural to show that it's like stone.
Yeah.
Because I just reading it now, I was like, wait, what are these circles that she's going towards? But it's light, so I would probably go back and add like the stone like texture and like just
You could
give it
almost just you could add like a little bit of like the highlights on the stones so you could see that they were
yeah,
as you get closer.
yeah, exactly.
I also feel like I don't super love that the kind of illuminating panel at the beginning is has a white background. I feel like because it's established in the dark so much, like it could be like more more daring. It
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be
Maybe like inverted or something.
yeah, I love like the red panel where she's like shocked, but yeah, I would love to see like that creative like color choice go into this kind of like shocking and weird moment.
Yeah, totally. Um, yeah, let's go to the next page. Let's see. Wait, go pencil. Yeah, this is like not very clear either. I feel like when I'm doing short comics, I'm always trying to look for like the low not the lowest common denominator, but like the image that conveys the most with like the least amount of like complications. So I was like, okay, I want to show her running out of the cave, but like do I need to show like the
Her
entirety of
full
the
body.
cave? Yeah, in a full body, or can I just show like the leaves wrestling and like her hair like moving so that you can tell like she's moving forward like
Yeah, I kind of wish that I could see like her face when she's running.
yeah.
I would love if it was like you could see like maybe it's like her eyes and she has like tears in her eyes or something
Mhm.
because she's like scared. And
Yeah.
then I'm not really sure what the second panel. It's like a very clamped layout to me. Like now that I'm thinking about it, because I think they do this a lot. They have a
Yeah.
lot. They infer a lot through the text, but like the layouts just don't make any sense at all. Like I love them, but we all
Yeah.
know that's true.
Yeah, it's kind of like an asymmetrical like collage almost. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
thinking exactly of like leading the reader between scenes. I was mostly thinking about like
The way it looks.
yeah, kind of the way it looks and like but also like we're not getting a lot from that second character. Like I kind of wanted her to be like kind of smug about the first girl being afraid,
Okay.
yeah, that didn't come through at all.
Yeah, maybe. What if? Yeah, I wish that we could get more like body language from the main character. Like, what if she was like crouching or something? She's like, "Ugh."
Yeah, she's kind of just like cruising
She's like,
away, very like nonchalant.
she
Like,
just yeah she was running and now she's like, okay, I'm done. I'm done being worried.
yeah, and like this character up here, she could have like maybe been like looking over her shoulder or something at the girl here. Like maybe she was crouched down, like you had her, and I could have made her like more smug looking.
Yeah, I do like that she's in shadow and just see her eyes. It's also very Eduardo Riso. I
Yeah,
think it's like a cool like I feel like it's, if you showed like her a little, like a little grin and like her eyes, it would really like it would really drive the point home that she was like a little bit smug about it.
Yeah, maybe I could have done that here because we see her eyes here. I could have just
Yeah.
added like a little like I can't do it. I can't do a thing
Yeah.
small enough, but like a little smile,
Yeah.
and then like maybe her eyes could be like, you know, kind of like looking back.
She's
Like,
like an emoji.
yeah, she's like smirk emoji. Yeah,
Yeah, I like
it's
that.
not pushing. It's not pushing a lot of emotion here.
Yeah, now that you
So,
mentioned that, I was like, oh, okay, that would be really interesting. Not, yeah, it's not showing as much.
yeah. Then we have the girl feeding the monster. Pretty straightforward. I always call these types of like paneling, like storyboard layouts,
Yeah.
basically. Like it's serving its purpose of like decompressing like a single moment, very literally.
Yeah.
Which is like it's fine. It's like not my. It's just like another tool. I try not to use it that much though, because I feel like that's very like overused. It's like over literal depictions of like actions, but yeah.
I also try not to do it just because I feel like if you're, if you're doing like a monthly comic or something, or you have like a certain page count, you don't really want to, unless you really don't have anything else to say, like you don't want to be spending so much time or like space dedicated to like one single action, which is usually what, the storyboard panels are showing. Like you're showing like, one sequence of events.
Yeah, definitely. Um and you have to see if it's like actually worth it to like expend that time. Like I think here it's worth it because
Yeah, here it's fine because it's like an art comic. This is like a whole,
yeah.
this is it's like giving you a vibe more than it is like trying to be like, okay, now we're going to go get into the real story. It's like,
Yeah,
no, this is a
exactly.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And then yeah, the like second to last page is just the creature, receding back into the cave, which we never properly see. We kind of just see like the entrance, but we don't see it in relation to like the
I
rest of
love
the
that you just
environment.
I love that you just have like the tree because I was like, I didn't even realize that you'd never show like where the cave is and connect in like conjunction to the tree or like in relation to the tree.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
In my head, it was like the tree is like on top of like a huge hill, and then you go down, and that's where like the forest line starts, and then the cave is
Oh, okay.
there. But yeah, like I don't know. Was that distracting to like not know like the spatial like layout, or was it like fine?
I think it's okay actually. I didn't mind it. I think now that you're pointing it out, I'm like, oh, okay. Because I think, you're a lot more connected to the story than I am. Like you know the inner workings of it and you knew what you wanted to get across.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of just enjoying the vibes. I'm like, I like these colors, I like these leaves, I like that hand, and yeah, I know. I'm satisfied.
Good, good, good. Yeah, sometimes you just have to like coast on vibes
Yeah,
for these
like,
shorter comics.
when your comic is like under 20 pages, it's vibes. Like it's not deep.
Yeah.
It just there's just not that much time to establish characters and like a world. It's not like, so you're gonna be doing something that's kind of ambiguous.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and then we have this last shot that's just like the mouth of the cave again. I wish I could have done. I don't like that. Again, I did the like white background. I think I was just being like lazy, or like it. I
Want
don't
to
know
show
if
like
it
a
would.
vignette?
Yeah, I don't know if it would look right with like the dark central cave, and then you have the dark outside of it, like where the white currently is. I feel like that might
Mm-hmm.
look like weird and like donut-y, like a leaf.
It does kind
donut.
of look. It's kind of like a butthole,
It is like a
like a really
butthole.
weird. Yeah, I think it's just
Anything
because it's
circular,
so
yeah.
anything like kind of like donut-ish is a little.
Yeah.
It's very mysterious. The cave.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I would have put like maybe like claw marks at the entrance, something to like hint. I guess it doesn't really need like any more hints, like you saw the monster, but I don't know.
I get it.
It's not giving me like, the like pizzazz that
Is your mic rubbing
interesting
against something?
My mic? Oh,
Yeah.
let me see. No, I have my snowball. Let me check. Let me check.
Oh, it's weird. I was like, because I hear like some like it sounds like it's almost like fabric rubbing against it a little bit.
Let me make sure my audio's okay. Wait, okay, how's that?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and then that's the end. Oh yeah, we have like the bitten noni fruit at the end, which I guess I do like that.
I like it.
And I'm not sure what the moth's deal is. Like, I think my idea was like they're attracted to like the smell of this
the fruit,
monster.
But they're scared of the monster, or they like the monster.
I think they're attracted to the smell of the monster, but I didn't really. It's again more just like moths are pretty to draw.
You're like this is my inner world, and you should be so lucky that you get like a little glimpse of it.
Yeah.
Totally like, even if you can only probably understand 20% of the world.
Yes. You just get little tidbits. That's it. Yeah, thank you for your crit. Really loved it. Really gonna, like inculcate it, think about it, meditate on it.
And yeah, you're like I'm not gonna redraw it. Just like don't get any like weird ideas.
Yeah.
Not gonna be redone. Just it is what it is.
No,
it is interesting to like kind of be like, how would I do this? Like obviously it's like not my story. I don't know the characters, but it's like interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah. I think there's so much to be said about like how a reader interprets a story. Like I think it's really valuable to like be able to see that more in depth and like
yeah.
Even with like criticism, I feel like it's hard for like I don't see a lot of criticism like on a like frame by frame level. I'm thinking of movies because that's what gets, I don't know. Comics criticism sometimes gets into a panel by panel like write up, but I feel like it's not as common, and I feel like most of the time they're discussing more of like the narrative, and
or like one splash page, and like the splash page is like not indicative of anything going on in the actual comic usually. Like it's a splash page, it's an illustration. So
yeah, exactly. Or like talking about like the style as a whole in conjunction with the narrative, and I like the idea of, I don't know, analyzing,
dissecting it more.
Yeah, dissecting it more on like a panel by panel level is interesting to me.
Yeah,
it's
fun.
Let's jump to your comic. Wait, what's going on? Oh wait, I gotta share screen again. Okay, there we go.
Which one did you end up choosing? Okay.
This one. Because I really liked your other ones, and I was like, I don't know what I would say about these. But this one is really cute, and also I think because it's so short as well, like you can like, I don't know.
This comic is unfinished as well, so I think.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think because this was like, back when people like actually did 24-hour challenges, this is one of those. So it's like you have to do 24 pages in 24 hours, and I failed. I failed pretty miserably because I was like, I'm tired. I can't do it. Like, So yeah, this is based off of a dream I had, and I don't really remember that much else about it, just because I did it so quickly.
Mm-hmm. So, were you just like winging the story, like coming up with it as you drew it?
Yeah, I was kind of coming up with, like the dream part was the stuff that I remembered, but like everything else, I think I was just randomly, I was like, I want to draw a girl like rolling around in bed or something. So there wasn't that much thought put into it. So I would love to see where you could take it. You could take it anywhere.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I really like, I'll just like jump through the pages so people can see, but I love this like early style of yours. Like, it's obviously still very you, but there's a extra bit of like cartooniness and stylization that I think is like really cute.
I was leaning a lot into like, this is brush.
Yes. And like sort of that thing where like you don't like connect lines, like you don't feel the need to like close every shape like that.
I've really definitely I've definitely had to like curb that habit. It's like funny to see it now too, because I'm like, I really had to stop doing that because it just didn't work. Like it was too hard for people to color stuff.
Oh, I see, I see.
But yeah, I love doing that one.
It's just very elegant, and I feel like that's a to me that like speaks about like confidence with like
it's
your figures
it's
and shapes, like you know it'll read and you don't have to like over detail it.
yeah, it's definitely more a sketchy thing too. It's kind of lends itself to a more sketchy nature just
Mm-hmm.
by being not connected.
Yeah. Like the striped shirt. I love the striped shirt and how it's open
I
on the
know.
sides.
It's like a very Rene Gruel thing where
Yeah.
he doesn't like do outlines, he just like shows like the texture or like pattern on the shirt.
Yes, I love that.
One of my favorite little style hacks.
It's really good. And then yeah, you got into some wash here, which I was like, yes,
And
so
then none,
appealing.
no more washing.
Yeah.
I would love to do like another black and white comic. Like honestly, I don't even know what the inspiration of this comic was. I feel like I don't I think I must have done it with like a brush pen or something. I'm like struggling to remember the details of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
a brush
mean,
pen and some microns.
yeah, I
Hmm.
can see that.
Well, whatever.
Um,
Um,
yeah, I don't know. I think it's gorgeous. Like, just like on a. I mean, this was like again like a 24-hour comic, right? So I feel like
yeah.
I don't want to like hammer too much on the story, but it's really good at like introducing a very strong character, um, like a very strong impression of somebody immediately. Also, her
Thank
character
you.
design is really good.
Thank
Um,
you.
the bear. I love this bear.
I know. This is also like, do you remember that one anime like Polar Bear Cafe?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think this was like kind of not like around the same era, but it was like, within 5 years of that. So I was
Within
like,
five
I
years.
love that polar
My private jet is waiting for us. So good.
bear.
Um, yeah, I. How do you feel about like the rounded panels? I guess like this is a fantasy. I use that trick still of like changing the panel shapes to
Yeah.
do like flashbacks or dreams or whatever.
I think it's okay. These are definitely like I don't mind like the messiness, but it does draw my eye a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like because I looking at it now, I'm like, oh, there's like so much panel breaking. Like, and this is like very I don't know. I don't know if it's like been trained out of me, but I just don't think that way most of the time anymore. So I think that's why it stands out so much.
Mm-hmm. I also think there's
But
a lot of like symmetry in these layouts that is like
yeah,
not my
yeah,
favorite. It's not like
yeah.
horrendous or anything. It's just like uncomfortable when the layout is symmetrical, but like the
Yeah,
compositions
it's
aren't.
too like it's too mirrored.
Yeah.
And also, I would say I don't understand. Wait, how do I annotate again? Uh, like why is this? Why, like, why was this important to break the panel? Like, I'm having like I'm just like, oh, like this is like
I
it's barely out of the panel. Like, why is it there?
I actually don't mind that at all. Like that didn't jump out to me in the least. Like, because I feel like you've done that like several times in this, and it just feels like
Yeah, I've
a
done it many
normal.
times.
Like this part up here, like her shoe and like some of the stones.
Yeah, like why? I
Like
don't know.
I'm not sure about like the narrative rationale, but it doesn't bother me visually. You
Okay,
know?
that's good.
Yeah, like it didn't bother me at all. Even like maybe this is like kind of tangenty, but it's
Yeah.
I don't mind the border breaking. And same with
Like,
like
do you
his little
remember?
ear here.
Do God, what is wrong with me? Could they have just like centered it a little bit better so it wouldn't have to break the panel? But also, I think this is also like unusual for me because usually I lay things out in Clip Studio, and I think this might have just been freehand.
Just like freestyled.
Yeah, I might have just been freestyling this one, so it's a bit more unstructured. But I think this might have been like my first multi-page comic with text.
Oh, really? So, doing the lettering as well?
Yeah, so it was just like, before that I'd only done like non-narration, no dialogue comics.
I gotcha. Oh, Woozy says they like the panel breaks also.
Thank you.
We're both pro panel breaks.
Honestly, I love it, but like because I love Clamp, I love shoujo manga. That's like the bread and butter of shoujo manga. It's just like, really vague panels. But I think because like stuff like this where like stuff like this where like there's
I can go up. Sorry.
Word bubbles like at the bottom. I'm just like, oh my god, like, it's. Mm-hmm. I think it's charming now because and I think at the time I was like, this is as good as it's gonna get. So this is like the pinnacle of my comic.
I mean, I don't think the word bubbles at the bottom are problematic because I feel like it's leading you through.
Yeah, like
so as long as it's doing that,
it's not like the worst, but like, if I were to go back and redo this comic for some reason, which I wouldn't do, I would love if it could see like their like tiny bodies, even smaller than this one. Like just have them like, she could be like this and he'll be like up here.
Like this, these maybe 2 panels could be 1 panel.
Yeah,
I feel like her head is also cut off kind of like at an awkward like half mark.
Yeah.
Though I guess that is kind of doing the work of showing like how big he is, but I feel like I could be more finessed,
Yeah, like I feel like panel breaks are really effective, especially if you're not using them in every panel, which is what's happening here.
Yeah, true.
So it's like, I think sometimes I love like if someone is super, not like grid based, but if they're using like the same layout for a lot of different pages, like a lot of shonen manga, they do that, where they'll use like the same layout. It's like basically they're making it so that the flow of the page follows the layout rather than making a layout to create a flow, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really interesting to me when people do use that logic, but then they also break the panel, because it's like, oh, it's so formulaic, but also like you're making like an aesthetic choice to break the panel.
Yeah.
Which is fun. And also this like splitting the panel, splitting a drawing in half for some reason.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it was like, why?
For no reason. No reason at all.
Why? I also did that in my mini comic. I don't know why.
Like what? I don't know what is like compelling about that. Like I think it honestly must be like some design thing that we're like, this makes it more panels.
Yeah, I feel also like I'll split panels when I feel like I need time, like another moment to pass, but I feel like the moment passing is not like, in this moment is not an important moment to delineate with like a break with like a panel border.
Yeah, I think so too.
There's also like the balance, like the 2 panels.
Yeah, it's so like even.
Yeah. And like this.
And I think.
Go.
Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about the previous page because it's like, I can see it. It's like.
Let me go.
Like why? Like
this way.
Like it's so like it's like so right down the middle. But why is this panel like so much smaller? Like it's so weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what I don't.
There's like this bit missing. Like.
Yeah, it's like slightly smaller, and also it's like, if I really wanted to be like super like pushing that, I would do it this. And also if this drawing, it could be like way bigger. Just nothing going on here. Like why? Like. I don't know. It's art.
Yeah.
It's art, so that's the reason.
Yeah. Or even like pushing it down here so that it's like.
Yeah. Or what? Yeah. Why is it not bigger? This could be like 3 panels, if anything, if you really want to go crazy with it.
So true.
It's the folly of youth, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. I still like this opening one. Like even this like 2-panel piece, I feel like is working for me because it's kind of like someone's like stalking a little bit closer.
Yeah.
And I also like how you like made a diagonal of using her hat and kind of just blended it into the page. Like I really like that. I think that's smart.
Yeah, I feel like, black backgrounds are a good way to delineate dreams from reality, but, it's also it's like very, I don't know, it's a practice a lot of people use, so I can see why people wouldn't want to do that, but also it's like, if it works, why like change it,
Totally. Yeah, and then our character wakes up after making out with the bear. No, she didn't make out with the bear.
And then realize how problematic this comic was because she's like dreaming about like some
bear
hot
love.
Bear.
BearCon.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you ever had dreams like this? I feel like I used to have dreams like this a lot, but like now I don't. Like I don't really know. Like
where a bear comes to sweep me off my feet.
Yeah, exactly. Have you had that dream?
No, I haven't had that. Maybe since I've read this, I'll have it tonight though. I'll channel it.
You'll be like bear, hot bear, in bed.
I'll be like, oh god, he's gonna take me on his private jet. Oh my god. How do you feel about? Let's see. So we have her facing this way for these 2 panels, and then she's this way. And there's also this helpful arrow also showing that she's getting up.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I almost, I think that this could have just been 2 panels. Although I don't know why a whole page would be dedicated to her waking up, because I feel like, I would have laid this out differently.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be like, establishing a shot, close up, she's pissed. When she gets up, like a lot of this is just it's I don't know why I had so many issues like putting multiple panels on a page.
I don't think the arrangement is bad. The only thing that I don't like is
it's just the
direction
relation, just
the direction of this getting up, because when I do actions, I feel like I'm trying to follow like left. Wait.
Yeah.
Which direction do
you're usually trying to you're usually trying to go left to right. So it's like if someone exits the page, you want them to be like walking out that way. Usually.
Yeah, exactly. Also like putting like the space that they're going to move in, leaving space there. That makes sense. Yeah. But I think this makes sense. I would just basically just
reverse it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this is all like really good drawings, good inking. I would like maybe introduce some sort of solid black somewhere, but that's like that's like nitpicking.
I think because like the beginning part is so heavy on like the spot black. Mm-hmm. Especially just because like mostly because of just like her hat and like the borders.
Yeah.
But like it goes from that to like super, I mean it's not like it doesn't not make sense, but like visually it would bring it all together more.
Yeah. Also, I really like how you do bubbles and lettering. I think these are all like really professional looking.
Oh, thank you.
And like this all looks really good to me.
You're like, okay, now you do bubbles.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, you know that comic we're doing? Letter it.
Like no. You're like, no, but seriously.
I'm like, yeah, do it now. This page is cute. I love her figures in the bottom 3 panels. I don't know how I feel about this kind of odd, not text.
Yeah, I don't know.
These
either.
2 top panels.
I'm not really sure. I think that might have been like some Jose thing.
Yeah. You also your ratio of pages very square.
Yeah.
Was that just
Don't-
like your like the sketchbook that you chose was just like a square sketchbook when you drew this?
I don't think so. I think I don't really know the reason why, because there are some pages that are more square, like they're shorter, like shorter that way. But like there's some pages that are kind of more like a traditional ratio, which is why, yeah, I'm not sure. Like this comic was mostly practice, so I think that it was just exploring
Yeah, that makes sense.
like how hard it is to panel things, which I still find pretty difficult. Like, but I think my practice has changed a lot, so it's interesting to see like the different experimentations that are going on here.
Mm-hmm. I love her
Yeah,
like
this is
tiny feet.
this is like very like
She has
this is like my
tiniest flat feet.
this is like my peak like Tumblr style.
Okay, yeah.
Does that make sense? Like it's like very
Yeah.
it's if you were there you would know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah. I love this. I think this is probably the best layout.
Mm-hmm.
I think so far. It has a nice
It's
like asymmetry to it, and it flows really well.
Yeah, I don't love this panel. It doesn't make sense to me. Like it's a little bit like maybe a little smaller maybe.
I thought she was like falling onto the bathroom ground, but she's back in her
like
room.
that's what it looks like, because it's like she's not moving around. Like if she was like walking back to bed or something and then like falling into bed.
Yeah, we get her like brushing her teeth, and then I'm like, oh, she slipped.
She like falls like in a way where she inverts completely. Yeah,
just standing still, and then she's like.
It's very cartoonish for sure, but like also some of it is unintentionally like nonsensical.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, this is a really good page.
Thank you.
This one, again, with the asymmetry here is very weird. I'm like not sure what to think about it.
Why I don't
like
know
why are we leaving this here?
Don't know.
Who are they?
It must have just been like I read Tramps Like Us or something, it was like this makes sense to me. Like there's only 3 panels on the page, and like they're all like kind of skewing off page.
Yeah. I guess I wouldn't mind it if this panel is just moved here and we had the gap here,
Yeah,
that
and
would
like
make
why isn't this panel like here? Like if it's gonna cut off, then it should cut off here. Like why is it? I think it must have been like I was reading a lot of manga, and manga is like
You're really putting a lot of the blame on manga. Just want to throw that out there.
Hey,
manga's fault.
It's manga's fault. I look at things the opposite way.
I know.
My eyes are backwards.
Oh my god. Yeah. Sometimes I'll definitely catch myself sketching pages or drawing pages, and it'll be
you're like making you're making bubbles like this long.
Yeah. My lettering is like vertical, like.
Yeah. Or yeah, you're like the.
Yes, exactly.
And you're like writing like this way. You're writing from
right to left. Yeah.
I love like that weird like old like scanlation, really badly edited scanlation lettering.
Yeah, we're just really paying homage to our manga roots. So sometimes we have to do.
Yeah,
this.
and I think that's I think that's why it's aligned to the right, even though I don't really know why. These panels could have just like been this whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they're pretty blank panels. They could have probably there could be a better layout going on here, because this one doesn't make sense, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and I like actually a lot of the lettering you're doing here. Like I love her like hello like in the cursive, and then I like the by 3:30 with like the like I don't know what those are called, like when it's sharp because someone is like yelling through the phone at you, but like
like action lines, like
yeah, it's like a little
lines?
like explosion. Yeah, I think those are very like sophisticated techniques.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I must have been trying really hard, because I was like, I don't know, Like, also, why is this next page like so square? It's hard for me to understand.
It's like getting more and more square as we progress.
Yeah, maybe I was just like, I'm really tired.
Yeah.
to ink anymore.
Oh, why did you get back? Get back here. Um, yeah, this is I absolutely love your brushwork with the washes. Like,
Oh, thank you.
can we like bring that back maybe? Like, it's like
Okay.
so good. I love it.
Yeah, like, I was trying brush pens again. I was trying to find the brush pen that I would like to use, as the person I am now. I can't turn back time and like be the person I was 5 years ago, but I still haven't found it yet. I feel like I don't know. I don't know if I'm like drawing too big or what I'm doing, but it just doesn't feel like the same.
The
I have to
brushes.
find like it doesn't feel it doesn't like give me as much what is it, friction. I think it's like almost like it is sliding too easily. Just
Oh,
makes it
interesting.
harder.
I wonder if that means you need like
much...
a toothier paper also.
Yeah, maybe. Or like a brush that like has less ink.
Oh something. Yeah.
A dry brush, but like
a dry brush. Dry. Yes.
Yeah, maybe I'll try. I want to try. I want to try using like more microns and like different brushes. I feel like I'm lacking a lot of texture and like artisticness.
I'm excited for your experimentations because whatever makes drawing feel good, like maybe it's not the brush anymore. Like for me, it's not the brush, but
I would love for it to be the brush. I love the brush, but sometimes the brush isn't working for me. Like my hand doesn't want to use it.
Yeah. I actually like this page. Like, I think there's a little, like, I don't quite like how this is composed. Like, I don't like that her little arm is cut off. And there's, like, just the little stripes there. But everything else I feel like is pretty solid. I don't know why she's, like, in a change. Like, I guess it's part of the story that she's going somewhere. But she's, like, changing again. Changing clothes.
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. Like, I honestly wish I could tell you, like, where this ends.
Yeah.
Or how it ends. But I think... This is probably when I just burned out and I was like, I can't think anymore. So it's just happening.
No, I totally accept it for what it is. It's just, it's funny to me.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't have any criticism besides that. I feel like maybe this part is a little bit unclear. Like her clothes are kind of like a little too vaguely shaped, but besides that, I think this is like pretty cute.
Like scale wise, I wish that this was showing more of her bed or something. Like whatever it is. I think this is based off of my old bed.
Yeah.
This is sitting here. But I think I just had a lot of issues, especially when I was first starting to make comics, like just how to frame stuff. I didn't really know how, so I was kind of just doing whatever felt right at the time.
Right.
Or whatever was easiest. So like looking at it now, I'm like, oh, there's so many different things that I could have done and like could have played with different things. But I don't mind it. I mean, like, I think it's fine.
Yeah, for sure. Is there like looking at this now, are there things that you're like, oh, I should try doing that again, or things where you're like, oh, I have this bad habit still? Like on reflection, like what do you feel about it?
I think this reminds me a little bit of like my first issue of Snot Girl, actually. Like kind of like this face reminds me of that, but I'm like trying to think of like what was going on then. I'm like, did I draw this when I was like sitting on the floor or something? I don't remember. I do like how brushy and kind of not fussed with like thinking about color this is. Because I feel like since I've started doing comics professionally, I definitely think more about like kind of the pipeline, just because it's not just me doing every single thing. So I would love to get back more into like a more spontaneous like mark making style. Yeah. Like, I don't think this is super spontaneous, but it's definitely more spontaneous than whatever I do now. Like now I like redraw things like 5 times. Just because I'm like, I don't know, whatever is like most clear to me. I'll do it as many times as I have to.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't mind it. It would be interesting to see if I tried to do another 24-hour. We should try to do a 24-hour comic. You're like, no.
No, actually, that does sound fun. That would be cool to do.
It would be really funny because I think, the thought of writing and drawing 24 pages is really not fun.
Yeah.
So it's like, if
Like,
you're sleeping for 8 hours, then you have to basically draw 2 pages an hour for the hours you're awake.
right. Okay, so you want to do 24 pages in 24 hours, basically. Is what
Yeah,
you're
that's
proposing.
that's like the hope, but it's also like I feel like every single 24-hour comic is kind of unfinished in some way because of that. I mean, unless I don't know who like doesn't do that. I feel like there must be some like crazy person who's like just a genius and like really good at everything. It's like, yeah, it was easy. I did it in like 2 hours.
I feel like I never participate in like hourly comic day because I don't like the drawing of like what you're actually doing, which I feel like
Yeah,
is kind of what it. Not like there's like a rule about it, but I'm like, I don't want to draw my day. Like that seems boring, but I do like the idea of trying to execute a just like any sort of comic, like short story or whatever. Like that seems
yeah.
fun.
I don't do enough stuff in the day to like demarcate the hours.
Yeah.
So whenever it comes around, I feel like it's like, it's like my most boring day where I'm just like at the computer for most of the day and then go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm like,
I'm
it's
like
boring.
other people like do stuff. They like play with their dogs or their kids and like they like go on walks. Like what?
They run errands? What?
They like run errands like on like and they don't just like stop doing things after they do one thing. It's hard to
Impressive.
believe.
Very
Could it
impressive.
be me? I don't know. Are all these people like superheroes or something? Like what is up with
Yeah, they're unnatural.
that?
Yeah, we should do like a 24-page comic in a day, and also like do like no
Oh,
color, and we have to like letter it ourselves like on the page. Like I
yeah.
think that would be a good not a good comic, a good challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say that even if we don't finish, it would be fun to have to like, do the undertaking of all that in one. Because I think I remember when I was doing this, I was like, after I stopped working on it, I was like, I'll go back and I'll finish it. And I just didn't. And I honestly, I kind of wish I went back, but that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you
Yeah,
can't finish it. Sometimes it's not finished,
yeah,
and that's
totally.
okay.
I know. Yeah, I think the last mini comic I did was like, oh well, I guess it was our Dagger short stories. We did that.
Hmm.
Um, that was fun. I had a good time. I used like those microns that I was telling you about, or not microns, they're
Oh
like
yeah,
Winsor and Newton like fine liners. Those are
hands.
really
Yeah.
nice. Um, but yeah, we should try it.
Okay,
Freestyle
we'll
something.
try it. Yeah, my dagger comic, that was hard. I think I was like changing a lot of stuff, and I was just like, I fucking like I think I'm fine with how it turned out. Like I feel like it's more successful than like another like the other. I don't know, whatever. It's not important to me. Like what's done is done. It's like
Hmm.
I'm not gonna go back and revisit it.
Yeah.
But
Was
I
it
think I
like
had
was
more
it a
fun.
struggle? Like was that because of like the story or
The
like
story was a struggle to me because I changed it like a bunch of times, and then
mm,
um because initially I wanted it to be like in a dystopian world, but then I was like, that's so dumb. But then I also that was like what I thought of when like we got the prompt basically, even though it wasn't really a prompt, it's just like a story.
mhm.
And then so it went through like a couple of different iterations, and it's just I feel like when things change a lot and you don't have like a super clear idea, that's when it gets really hard. It's like pulling teeth. You're just
Yeah.
like I need to find a way to make this work. And
Hmm. Maybe that's another thing we can like for this if we do this like 24-hour challenge, like instead of coming up with our own stories, like maybe we can just like interpret like a Grimm's fairy tale in our own way.
oh,
Like
that
just
would
do
be
like our
fun.
own adaptation of like a I don't know, a fable or whatever. And that way we can just kind of focus on
Lettering and like the art and stuff.
yeah,
That'd be
like the
cool.
comic itself and like that could be
Yeah,
a good challenge, kind of like pare away um as many uh distracting details and just try and do just the comic and focus on that.
It would be fun to do something that was like less adapted as well, because I feel like, you know, the ones that are super popular, like it gets in your head too, so you're just like, I don't know, like, should I do it more like this or that?
Yeah, we should do some
yeah.
like more obscure fairy tales or like folk tales.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Okay, let's do it. Do you want to
Okay.
sign us out?
Yeah, so I mean, this is a little bit of a departure from what we've done in the past, but you know, let us know if this is interesting or if it's not. Like, we were rambling for quite a while and just kind of talking about layouts and stuff. I would love to do an episode about layouts, because I feel like people don't understand them unless you make comics. Like, it'd be, because I don't know, I never read like Scott McCloud's books or anything. So like that's just like that's like a blank space in like my knowledge about that. Like, obviously I would be interested in going back and reading it, just because I don't know anything about it.
I mean,
I don't know anything about grids.
You've been drawing comics for like
I have been drawing comics, but it's also like those comics are more informed by like other comics that I like, you know. So it's like having a more like, you know, like a formalist approach to it is just not something I've thought about. So
I gotcha.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, so let us know if this is interesting. If it's not interesting, so you don't have to do it. But you can reach the podcast at saltandhoneypod on Twitter, and you can email us at saltandhoneypod@gmail.com. And also, you know, we love to read your comments, and we're going to keep on trying to stream more things.
Yeah.
You know, granted we don't get sick or like anything bad happens, we're probably going to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've been liking these streams, and I like hearing the comments. Woozy says an episode on layouts would be really good. Thanks, Woozy.
Yeah, it would be fun. I mean, I would love to like kind of talk about that more, because I feel like it's also something that I kind of learned about way later. Like, before, when I made this comic, I didn't really know anything about layouts. I think it's pretty obvious. But yeah. Hi, Nosmo. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Nosmo.
Yeah, like I think that's really interesting. I feel like it's part of the fun of making comics is the layouts. And I feel like layouts get a bad rap because it's just like people are either like really pro layout or people are like really like, it doesn't matter. It's just a story. And just, I think it's an interesting divide because I feel like comics are all layout, but that's just me.
Yeah, for sure. And also, like, I feel like there's an like we were talking earlier about, like, storyboard style layouts, like, overly literal senses of space. Like, that can be good, and it can also be very boring. I feel like that would be interesting to get into also. Yeah, like, on the grid, like, stuff that's, like, on the grid, you know, that can also be, like, something that is kind of invisible if you're not like, looking for it. Yeah. So it'd be fun to talk about like when it works or when it doesn't work. Yeah. Totally. Or when it's like subjectively working, I guess. Some people love that. Some people love the grid. Yeah, definitely. I'm not saying the grid is bad. I'm just saying you could try different things. You're like, what about no grid? No rulers. How about just like no panels, no gutters, everything just like mashed together. How about that? Everything's like a full bleed page. Everything's like, wait, that's one just panel, an illustration. One panel per page. Oh man. But yeah, it would be so fun. We should force everyone, anyone that wants to do it, to also do a 24-hour comic with us. Struggle along with us, and I would love to see other people's attempts, because it's hard. It's definitely hard and takes a long time. Yeah, 24 hours, 24 pages, maybe base it on a story that already exists so that you can just focus on visually telling it. Yeah, the story, I would say, in this kind of practice is not the important part. It's definitely kind of not so much, I want to say technical. I feel like you could be pretty
loosey goosey about it, but you know, you're kind of trying to show like the flow of the story and like have it make sense relatively.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'll tweet about it later.
Okay.
Did you plug yourself already? Also, sorry if you heard my dog just throw up behind me. Many apologies. Yeah, he's fine. I don't know. He probably ate some grass earlier, and yeah.
Okay. Well, you can find me, Leslie at Leslie Hung on Twitter and at Dairy Free on Instagram. Even though I think everyone that is in the chat is someone I know.
Yeah. Our friends.
All our friends are here to tell us that we're doing a great job.
Yeah, to gas us up. Thank you, friends. And yeah, I'm Sloanzone on Twitter, sloanzone.com, Sloan Leong on Instagram. And yeah, that's our show.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope it was fun. I'm just like, please.